Good afternoon, everyone. These are the detention hearings for the 323rd Judicial District Court of the State of Texas, Tarrant County's assigned juvenile court. The purpose of these detention hearings are to determine first if there is probable cause to believe that the child may have engaged in delinquent conduct. If the court so finds, thereafter the court will make a determination as to whether or not the child should be released to a parent or guardian or ordered to be retained at the juvenile detention center. If the court orders the child to continue to be detained at the juvenile detention center, another hearing will be held in 10 business days. Each of you has the right to remain silent during this hearing. However, anything you say cannot be used against you at a future adjudication, disposition, or modification hearing, but it might give the state evidence or lead the state to evidence that they could use against you. We do have a prosecutor in the room. The prosecutor is taking notes. So each of you will also have an attorney for purposes of this hearing. I would suggest that maybe before you say anything to the court, that you discuss first what you want to say to your attorney, and that way he or she can advise you on whether or not you really should say it before you just blurt it out. Sometimes even what you think might be harmless could indeed be detrimental to you, and so you might want to get your attorney's advice before you blurt it out. This is not a trial. This is not a finding of whether or not the child actually did what he or she is accused of doing. Instead, what it is a determination of whether probable cause exists to believe that the child engaged in delinquent conduct. The law allows me to consider hearsay evidence in making that determination. And to that effect, the probation department will provide me with reports based on police officers' reports. All right, first on our docket this morning, or this afternoon, is it Mr. Musa? Am I pronouncing your last name correctly? Musa, please come forward, have a seat. And is Violet here? All right, Ms. McGonigal. Mr. Musa, for purposes of this hearing, I'm going to appoint Ms. McGonigal to represent you at this hearing. Your attorney could not be here today. Mr. Dotson, what brings Mr. Musa to court today?
Thank you, Your Honor. On 6/10, we found out was referred and testified in the police department for the attempted aggravated robbery. According to the police report on 6/10 at 4:30 p.m., U.S. PD were dispatched with aggravated robbery in progress. On arrival, they spoke to the victim, identified he was in fear of his life and he was visibly shaken by a police officer. We reported that he was a driver for Amazon, he was driving a personal vehicle. He had just delivered a package and opened the door to get out of the vehicle. He was approached, black male carrying a black object. He thought to be a handgun. Told him he took off running. When he looked back, he saw that Mr. Musa here and another black male get into his vehicle and leave. Short time later, the police located the vehicle and did a stop. Rotava was the only driving occupant at the time. The victim was taken to the scene and identified him as the one that had the gun and stolen his vehicle. He has a pending offense for property, equal to $750 less $2,500. According to that report, referred out to us by the police department. According to the officers, they were snatched to an apartment complex. The employee said that the maintenance golf cart had been stolen. They found the golf cart in an abandoned field, and they sent a video to Training High School, and he was identified as a suspect in the video. So this is second referral. He has failed 2 past drug tests, and both are pending DA.
All right. 2 referrals in less than a month and a half. All right. Ms. McGonigal, what are your thoughts? Yes. If I can ask you to pull your mask down because I can hardly hear you. Thank you.
Was there a gun recovered when the law enforcement made contact?
No gun was located.
So, I would ask at this time that he be released, pending court on the placement of a monitor, and to either a set pat or weekly drug test.
All right. Thank you, Ms. McGonigal. Mr. Musa, this is your second referral in less than a month and a half. Both times you came in more than 30 days apart and you tested positive for marijuana. I believe that at this point, if I were to release you again, you would be a danger to yourself or to the community. And so on that basis, I'm going to order that you be detained. I also find that probable cause exists to believe that you've engaged in delinquent conduct. Thank you, sir. All right, Ms. Coles? Mr. Ortiz, what brings Ms. Coles to court today?
Your Honor, on 610, 16-year-old Taylor was put in custody by the Fulton Police Department for the offense of aggravated assault, 8 family house weapon. On the same date, 6:25 p.m., Fort Worth PD was dispatched to a domestic disturbance where officers, when they arrived, spoke with the mother, who was the victim, reported saying that when Taylor got into the verbal argument, police report revealed that when Taylor was leaving the location, she went back inside the home, grabbed a knife, went inside in front of her mother, attempted to stab her mother, and the mother reported put her hand up to stop from being stabbed, but her index and middle finger were cut by the knife. The police report say that the mother was able to hit Taylor and left the area to call the police. Police reports show that officers were called and Taylor was then detained. There's no further offense history, Your Honor.
All right. Does she have a parent or guardian here today?
Yes, Your Honor. Mother is here.
Mom? What's going on?
Pretty much we had gotten into an argument about some money, and I tried to defuse the situation and leave out the house, and the Taylor pretty much told me not before she stabbed me. She went inside the house, got the knife, and tried to stab me. I took the knife from her, and I hit her.
Is this the first time she's been violent with you?
Physically, yes.
So she's been violent in other ways?
Yes.
How so?
Her anger also towards her sister. She's just very angry child.
How long has this been going on?
It's been going on for some years.
2 years?
For some years.
For some years.
Yes.
Is there anything that happened preceding these bouts of anger that might have changed her life to trigger that?
Yes, me. Most of the problem is me. We just can't see eye to eye for anything. I'm her issue.
Okay. Do you think she needs to stay in detention today? Or do you want her to come home and try and work on the relationship with you today?
Honestly, I've tried to do the counseling. I've tried to do family days. I've tried to get involved with the programs, and the Taylor refused to participate in the programs. So I don't know what else to do. I'm tired of her getting angry and feel like she can destroy the stuff inside the house, or that she can jump up in my face and act like she's my equal.
Okay. Mr. Mooney, what are your thoughts?
Judge, I haven't had a chance to talk to my client. There's not really much I can add at this point.
All right. I think what we need right now is a little cooling off opportunity. I'm going to first find that probable cause exists to believe that you've engaged in delinquent conduct. I'm going to order that you continue to be detained. Have they explained the behavioral levels to you in the back, level 1, level 2, level 3? Okay. Get to level 1.0 and maintain it for me before our next detention hearing. All right? And in the meantime, call Mom. Mom, you call her. See if y'all can talk about things. All right? Thank you, Ms. Coles. All right. Landon Fair, Mr. Beaver.
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
All right, Mr. Beaver, you requested, this is an attorney requested detention hearing. Yes, sir. He is level 1 acceptable. Is that correct, Mr. Nava? All right. Mr. Beaver.
Your Honor, Mr. Fair has been one outstanding for the vast majority of his time here, and I guess that he sniffed yesterday. It's my understanding that he was talking without permission.
Times 6.
And
Am I close? Am I close, Mr. Nava? All right.
Your Honor, I've been in contact with his mother several times, that his mother's made some really big changes at their home to make sure that Landon is going to follow her rules and there won't be any further incidents on his behalf. I've spoken with Landon several times and he knows what's expected of him. And last week, he was very close to being released. I think there was just some nerves on his part, and so he did not give an answer that was satisfactory to Judge Kim. So we would just request that he be released today to his mother.
Oh, yeah. I remember this.
I believe that there is no prior offense history, that the first time he's had any sort of contact with the police. And this is an isolated incident and would not happen again.
And is Mom here?
Yes.
Mom,
Hello.
I'm going to ask you the same question that Judge Kim asked last week. Where did you get the tattoos?
Where did you get the tattoo? From Pier?
What is Pier? I want Pier's name.
That information I don't have.
Okay. Have you asked him the Pier's name?
We talked about it, I don't recall.
So that's a no.
It's been like
Okay, that's a no. And he's how old again? 16. And you don't want to know this peer's name so that you can talk to this peer's parents about why it's a bad idea to tattoo a minor without his parents' permission? Yeah, but have you had that conversation with the other kid's parents? Don't you think that's a conversation you need to have? That would be a yes. Yes would be the correct answer. Okay. So, how long do you think it'll take for you to find out the name of that peer and have that conversation with parents? All righty then. I'll let you have that conversation with your mom, and Mom can have that conversation with the peer's parents over the weekend. And then I'd like for you to share that information with Mr. Nava. And then Mr. Beaver, if you want to set him on Monday's docket, we'll consider it then. I expect you to get back to level 1.0 by then. If you're not level 1.0, not letting you out. Don't tell your mom who gave you those tattoos, not letting you out. No, you don't want to say anything right now. Because right now, the door is open for you to get out on Monday. Anything you say might close that door. All right? All right. Thank you, Mr. Beaver.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No, he'll have an attorney requested detention hearing in front of Judge Kim on Monday. But as a condition precedent for consideration of release, Mom has to have had that conversation with the parents and divulged the tattoo artist's name to Mr. Nava. It is illegal to tattoo a minor in Texas without the parent's permission. Such conduct is a misdemeanor offense and carries a punishment of up to a year in jail and up to a $4,000 fine. I doubt anybody wants their kids being tattooed without the parent's permission. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But, all right. Macy Tharp. All right. Thank you, Mr. Nava. Ms. McGonigal. Ms. Tharp, please come forward. Ms. Tharp, this is an out-of-custody detention hearing to determine whether or not I should order you be taken into custody. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney. For purposes of this hearing, Mr. Macy could not be here, so I'm appointing Kathleen McGonigal to be your attorney for purposes of this hearing. I would suggest, before you blurt anything out, you discuss it with Ms. McGonigal first, all right? And then she can advise you on whether or not you really should say it. Mr. Nava, what brings Ms. Tharp to court today?
She had an out of custody, was ordered by yourself. She was taking six children back on the third. She also received a malpractice that day for assault, violent injury. Her older sister is the victim. According to the report, we spoke with Macy's older sister and the living boyfriend, mom, stepdad. They all provided a similar story. Macy and her sister got in over a fight. Over older sister owed Macy $15. Macy was upset, threw things around the house, threw glass at the victim's boyfriend. It hit the victim in the face and the neck area. She was restrained by the older sister's boyfriend, and police determined that after Macy made certain statements, they were going to take her to Cook's Children's. After Cook's Children's, she was taken to Bremer and discharged yesterday afternoon. She was released initially, but just came back in 5th of May after she was brought in on the 19th of April for assault, bodily injury. Her mother is the victim in that case. According to that report, mom confiscated the phone of one of Macy's friends. Macy was upset about that and began to hit mom with a closed fist, and mom did report feeling pain. Mediation was attempted, but it was unsuccessful. She is here today to address anything the court wishes to address.
Does she have a parent or guardian here today?
Mom is here in the back.
All right. Ms. McGonigal, do you wish to ask questions of Mom?
I do, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
Mr. Melvin may have to handle it.
Oh, okay. Sí se puede.
Ma'am, was Macy prescribed medication to the here yesterday?
Yes, she had medication. The new medication, yes. She checked the medication. She had to take medication for disability problem. Yes.
And are you wanting Macy to come home today?
Yes, because she's under, yes.
¿Todo está mejor?
Sí.
Okay. Okay.
Was she on the monitor previously?
Sí. She's a hard monitor.
Were there any violations of the monitor?
No. That's, when she was in the hospital, she had to manage restricting on me for security for other patients. Because she was in
Because what?
a mental hospital.
Okay.
Yeah, for safety for other patients.
Your Honor, I asked that Macy be released today on the monitor. It seems as if mom has medication and she's wanting to take the medication and mom wants her to come home. I think that whatever issues precipitated this incident that happened at the beginning of June have been resolved through the intervention of the psychiatric staff.
How long has she been taking the new medication?
That's the prescription that they give from the hospital.
¿Y qué fecha?
The patient, what is it? What day?
Yeah.
Yesterday. They give.
Yesterday?
Just yesterday, Judge.
Yeah, they have a new medication from the hospital yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does she run away? From-
No, she don't run away.
Okay.
No.
Let's give her a chance to see how she's doing on the new medication. If you have problems, please call Mr. Nava. Okay.
Sure.
Right.
Thank you.
Judge, you want to continue on the monitor, still have 30 days of validation.
Yeah, we can cut it off.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Jaren Cook. All right, Ms. Brazel, what brings Mr. Cook to court today?
Back on the 26th, Jaren was referred in custody by the Fort Worth Police Department for aggravated robbery. According to the report, officers were dispatched to a robbery call and spoke with the 73-year-old victim. The victim reported that he was approached by two subjects Jaren was identified as one of those subjects while walking in his apartment complex. They asked for a cigarette, but he informed them that he didn't smoke, so they walked away. As the victim walked back towards his apartment, he saw the two suspects walking back towards him when all of a sudden one of them punched him, causing him to fall to the ground. As he tried to get out, he reports that the second suspect punched him in the face. He believes he was hit 4 times total by both suspects. As the victim was trying to walk to his apartment, he realized his keys were missing. He then saw his vehicle drive off. Officers entered the stolen vehicle into the system, and RTCC was able to locate it on the southeast side of town. Officers conducted a traffic stop, and Jaren was identified as the driver. After the victim was interviewed, Jaren was named as one of the suspects in the original robbery. The court does not expand on how and if the victim identified him, and he was transported here to JP.
This alleged incident occurred shortly after 7 in the morning.
Yes, sir.
Does he have a parent or guardian here today?
Yes, his father and his mother are both present.
Okay. Are you dad? Was he staying with you on May 26th? What was he supposed to be doing at 7 o'clock in the morning? May 26th was a Wednesday.
I leave at 6 in the morning to go to work, and we're supposed to be there. And,
Asleep? What time does he start school?
he virtually school, but he hasn't been going to school. He hasn't been going on the computer.
How long have you known he wasn't going to school?
We had some things between me and his mother, so she pulled him out of the original school that he was in, but he was a grade A student, no problems, anything like that. This is his first time ever been in any kind of trouble.
That didn't answer my question, Dad.
I'm trying to get to the point. I transferred him to a different school, and they did it virtually, and he hasn't been logging into it.
Again, that didn't answer my question, Dad. How long has he not been logging in?
It's been about a month now.
Okay, so you've known since the beginning of May he wasn't logging into school?
Yeah, he just got transferred over to that school. He's only been at that school for a month, maybe a month and a half.
Okay. Ms. Brazel, he has been level 1-0 for less than a week, correct? And this is a crime against an alleged crime against a 73-year-old man.
Yes, sir.
Crime of opportunity, first thing in the morning when he's supposed to be inside his house, waking up, getting ready, brushing his teeth, getting ready for school, which he hasn't been doing for over a month. Mr. Daniel, what are your thoughts?
Oh, thank you, Judge. Judge, what day did you show that he started on 1-0? Because I have a certificate here.
He's been level 1-0 since June 5th.
Okay.
And so this would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This would be the 7th calendar day.
Okay. Because I have a certificate from him here saying that he was on level 1. It doesn't say 1-0 or acceptable. I don't know which one it would be.
He's been level 1 pretty much since he was able to get level
So
1.
May 30th through June 5th. So, yeah, yes, sir. I would agree. He's been level 1 ever since he was able to get there. So I think his behavior has been acceptable here and outstanding now. He does, I believe if I remember correctly, he does not have any prior offenses. And although I understand this was a crime against an elderly person, it did not involve a weapon, Your Honor, as I recall. It would be just their hands. So there was no weapon involved, a knife or a gun or.
And Mom is here? Mom, did he live with you 3 months ago? And what caused the change for him to leave your house and go live with Dad?
Because he didn't like the rules that we laid for him. And so that once us that we were there to,
So he has rules and stuff at your house.
Sir, excuse me?
He has rules and stuff at your house.
Yes.
And you make him go to school?
Yes. And also, I want to add that me and his father talk also helping him in like going to summer school, working together better, he got a parent home. He don't act like this, he is a great student.
Who else lives in your house, Mom?
My husband and my other two kids.
How old are the other two kids?
A 15 and 10.
And if I were to release him to you to live at your house, who would be there to supervise him during the day when he's supposed to be in school?
He would have a babysitter, which is his grandmother.
Okay. How old's grandmother, if you don't mind me asking?
7.
Are we worried about him trying to beat up grandmother?
No. No, excuse me, no. Oh, he was, yeah, no.
I mean, he likes to pick, allegedly likes to pick on old people. I don't want your grandmother, his grandmother, to be in danger from him. You understand? Mr. Neal, what are your thoughts?
Your Honor, this is a first-degree felony offense involving an elderly individual. This, Mr. Cook was found driving the old man's car less than an hour after the robbery had occurred. I think you need to take into consideration the seriousness of the offense, as well as the fact that it involved an elderly individual. We do ask that you release him to be on electronic monitor, because I don't trust him to not leave the house.
Mr. Neal, doesn't the family code provide me 5 different reasons I should consider whether to retain or release?
It does, Your Honor.
And wherein does that fit into those 5 statutory reasons?
My concern is for the safety of the community.
Okay, that answers my question. Mr. Neal is right. I'm very scared about letting you back out. Okay. I'm going to release him to Mom, and he is to live with Mom, not Dad, because Dad cannot provide adequate supervision. You will be on the monitor. You will be locked down at your house. You're not to leave your house. If he wants to go to church, he can watch it online. I expect you to make sure that he is going to school online. If he's not logging in, then that'll be a violation of your release, and I will order that you come back to detention. You're going to school one way or another. You can either go to school in detention, or you can go to school at Mom's house on the computer there. But you will go to school. I'm going to ask that you provide weekly proof to Ms. Brazel that he is logging into school and doing his lessons like he's supposed to, and he will be released on the electronic monitor. We will know where you are 24/7. You cut off that monitor, you're coming back here. No questions. All right? Thank you, Mom.
Can I ask a question just to clarify something?
Yes, sir.
What kind of proof is it you're wanting from her to show that he's in school?
The school will be able to provide login
Oh,
records and stuff like that.
Okay, very good.
So, yeah, he's got to make up those classes that he's missed. All right, that'll be the order of the court.
Thank you, Judge.
you. Denali Dunbar. Hello, Mr. Dunbar. Mr. Dunbar, you've been level 10 since, well, it doesn't matter. Mr. Dunbar, you and I are familiar with each other. I find the probable cause exists to believe that you've engaged in delinquent conduct. I also believe that if I were to release you, you would be a danger to the community or to yourself, and so on that basis, I'm going to order that you be detained. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Do us proud, all right? Make the best of this opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Houston. I know. That's okay. All right, Mr. Marquez. Is Mr. Newman here? Oh, okay. Ms. McGonigal. Mr. Marquez, Mr. Newman is probably in another court. That's the reason you couldn't be here, but I'm going to appoint Ms. McGonigal to be your attorney for purposes of this hearing. All right. What brings Mr. Marquez to court today?
On May 26, 1606, was referred to custody of the U.S. Police Department on the offense.
Ms. Alonso, please speak up. I'm hard of hearing and the air conditioning's running.
You want me to start all over?
No, go ahead. Keep going.
He was referred to custody by the USPD on the offense of possession of marijuana, 5 pounds to 50 pounds. According to the report, a U.S. SWAT executed a search warrant in an apartment believed to be used to sell marijuana. Once inside the apartment, officers located 2 subjects. A juvenile identified as Victor Marquez and an adult female who was 18 years old. After a full search of the apartment, officers located 12 pounds of marijuana and several baggies throughout the apartment, over $10,000 in cash, and several electric scales. Officers also note that the apartment seemed to be fortified as the windows were covered in plywood, a steel door behind the entry door, and surveillance cameras. According to the police report, it was apparent that the apartment was reconstructed for the sole purpose of concealing a drug business. Investigators believe that all the money discovered during the investigation were profits from selling illegal narcotics. Based on the police report, the search warrant was for his older brother, who was 26 years old. Victor was then transported to our department. A petition has not been filed as of today. I spoke to both parents, and they both report that Victor has not been living under adult supervision since April of last year. And both parents are here.
All right. Mom and...
They're separated. Ex-mom and then father is on that.
All right. Mom, he's been living with the older brother all this time? No, ma'am? No? Has he been in contact with y'all while he's been gone? Why did he leave?
Because he wants to, I think he's gone. He doesn't want to follow rules.
Does he normally, before he left, was he living with you or with Dad?
With Dad.
Okay. Dad, why did he leave?
Basically, what you want her, basically, I mean, she released it to me a few years ago, and he started pretty good and everything. I mean, he wasn't to start getting the more influence with his brothers, and that's when he started trying to be acting more like his brothers, and that's when I kind of started having a problem at the house. But the moment that he was staying there with me, I mean, that he knew that he needed to go by the rules. I mean, simple rules. I mean, I'm a minister from the church, and basically the only thing that I would always ask him, say, hey, man, just do better, because like he was a good student. I mean, you can go back and see his grades and everything.
Mr. Marquez, if you were a year older, you'd be looking at 10 years in prison. Was he drug tested when he came in?
You know, this is his first and third court department.
Dad, have y'all ever drug tested him at home?
No.
Mom, you're shaking your head. Tell me about that. What were the results? For what? When?
When I found out he was smoking.
And that date was? Oh. You ever think he might be doing other drugs? You want to find out? You want us to do a hair follicle test? You agree, Dad? All right. Well, then we will do a hair follicle test on this young man to find out what other drugs he may or may not have been using and for how long. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, I do find probable cause exists to believe that you've engaged in delinquent conduct. This is really scary. This scares me more than the previous case, and here's why. 16-year-old kid caught up in a trap house. The two ways that ends bad. Search warrant executed by police officers. They think that you're reaching for a gun and you're dead. The second option is a rival gang attacks your trap house and they don't even care if you're reaching for a gun. You're dead. That's what scares me about this situation is on this path you're on, you're going to end up dead. Your parents are going to end up burying you. He's been level 1-0 for 12 days. Mr. Neal, I know what you're going to tell me, and you're right. You're absolutely 100% right. Mom, whose rules is he more likely to follow, yours or Dad's? Neither one? Dad, whose rules will he follow?
He will follow mine more, but as long as you were able to listen to me, he knows. I have talked to him, and I think me and my wife now, we're willing to help him in that area, and
I believe both of you. I believe both Mom and Dad, as well as stepmom, are going to help. I really believe in all three of you.
And I just want not like fully custody because that was one of the issues.
Well, that's not going to be settled here today. I'm not the court to do that.
What I'm trying to say is that as long as this is one of the main issues in the past, that he will get in trouble with me because of my rules.
Right.
He will run away right away to his mom.
You brought it up. The divorce court. Who was given custody? 50-50? Okay. Is that correct, Dad?
No, I believe it's 50-50.
That's what she said. She said it was 50-50. Okay. You're both telling me the same thing. She's not disagreeing with you, Dad. She's
No.
okay. Where's the brother?
No idea.
He has 4 brothers.
But the one he was living with, the 26-year-old.
He didn't live with anyone. He really wanted to go with his girls and friends. By himself.
The report said that the brother has a arrest warrant for his arrest. The apartment police were supposed to get brother,
Right.
not him. And he has an order for his arrest.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and authorize his release on the electronic monitor to Dad. He needs to be on lockdown at your house, can't leave. If he's headed to school, make arrangements for him to do it online. Yes, sir?
And I want to have my wife can say something, because we already got the, as soon as we find out about all this, I mean, we got the information. It's already, had Nimitz High School Nerving, they're willing to help him out to go back into summer school, got the paperwork. And I would love, he's gonna be released to me also to be, for him to have him like drug test, some type of, like in order to keep him stay at drug test, college.
Well, keep in mind, for him to get tested a weekly in a constant, daily basis, not daily basis, but weekly.
Let's just release him on the sweat patch.
Do you still want the hair?
I do. We're going to do both. We're going to do an electronic monitor. For right now, I want him going to school virtually. I want him at your house. That way you know where he is 24/7. If Nimitz will not allow him to do it virtually, get with Miss Alonzo. We'll address that at a later date. Because honestly, I really don't want him leaving your house to get in contact with some friends who might be giving him drugs or whatever, or give him an opportunity to cut the monitor at school and run. I'm more inclined to just have him brought back, and you're going to go to school in detention. You cut that monitor off, you test positive for drugs on that sweat patch, you're probably not getting out again. And with this amount of drugs and this amount of cash and those tattoos all over your arms and your hands, it would not surprise me if Mr. Neal over here seeks a determinate sentence and asks the court to waive its jurisdiction and go ahead and send you to adult court on this charge, where you could face 10 years in prison. Because this is an adult level crime. Trap house, selling drugs. I'm telling you, you're in way over your head and you don't even realize it. All right, that'll be the order of the court.
Oh, you were from
Yeah, I did.
Oh, never mind. Oh, no.
All right, Mr. Thompson. Oh, okay. No, it's because I was doing it. I was too busy doing other stuff. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Victorson, what brings Mr. Thompson to court today?
Your Honor, this attended hearing. He was referred in custody by the Fort Worth Police Department on April the 28th for aggravated robbery. The police report indicated that on April the 20th, at about 5:45 a.m., the victim called police to report he'd just been robbed. The victim stated that he was jogging and a vehicle pulled up next to him and two black males got out of the car. The two black males both pointed guns at the victim and demanded his property. But as a jogger, he didn't have any property, so they left, and nothing further happened with that victim. A short time later, another victim, about a block away, contacted police and stated that he was sitting in his car and saw a black male standing in the street pointing a gun at him. The victim then sped off. Moments later, about 2 blocks away, surveillance at the school showed a vehicle stop next to a parked car in the school parking lot. 3 males exited their vehicle and broke the windows of the parked car. Suspects then left the area. On April the 28th, his grandfather contacted police after seeing a news report of a series of aggravated robberies that had occurred in the community. And he told police that Joshua actually has a jacket, looks exactly like what he saw on the news report. police came out and visited with Joshua and questioned him about these offenses, where Joshua admitted to being part of all 3 of those offenses. He's on level 1, acceptable in the detention center. And he's been on level 1-0 for nearly 3 weeks, Your Honor, until yesterday, when there was a slow to comply and talking without permission incident that occurred. Oh, and one more amendment to my report. We do have a court date set for June the 21st.
Okay. Mr. Willett, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, we just got the court date today. I'll have to check again. Last time I had looked, the DMCA had not even opened up to me yet.
Mr. Neal, will you check on that for me, please?
Yes, sir.
I mean, obviously he's done better. I actually think he might have been at level 3 at one point. Last my notes out here, so he has really improved since he's been here. If he could be released, we'd ask obviously be released on a monitor. I know the concerns now.
Okay. Mr. Thompson, did Judge Kim talk to you about the different behavioral levels in the back?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you know you got to be level 1-0 before I can consider you for release, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're not there today,
Yes, sir.
so I can't consider you for release.
Yes, sir.
All right. Get back to level 1-0. Maintain it between now and the 21st, because that's going to give Mr. Willett something really good to argue with as he's trying to figure out what is going to be a good resolution to your case, whatever it is. But you're going to be doing a real big help to him if you can get and maintain that level 1-0 for me, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. I got to order you be detained today.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir. Okay. The Texas Constitution provides that these hearings should be open to the public, and that's pursuant to the open courts provision of the Texas Constitution. However, the Family Code contains an independent provision that says when the child is under the age of 14, that such hearings should be closed to the public unless the benefit that would be available to the public by being able to observe the hearings outweighs the presumed child's right to privacy. No such showing has been made to the court today. Accordingly, the remaining hearings involve children under the age of 14, and so the court will be discontinuing the live broadcast of these hearings over YouTube. The live broadcast has been provided as a convenience to the public so that it may participate in and observe the functioning of the judiciary. I will remind the public that recording or rebroadcasting all or part of these hearings is expressly forbidden by the court order. Violation of the court's order may subject you to civil and/or criminal contempt proceedings. Thanks, everyone who may have been